2026, Season 4 of the Danny Dog Podcast. I'm Danny, based here in Central Otago in New Zealand. Let's get into it. I hope everyone's had a great start to the year. We're 6 weeks in. If anyone says to me it's the same as 2025, that's on you. I think through the past 3 seasons, you must have learnt from me how you don't do this, right? You don't do life. So we are meant to be growing and getting better at this. So if you are having a tumultuous, terrible 2026, do something about it. I genuinely looked at the microphone then and I was like, why am I here again? So this is my final season of the podcast. I'm going to make it to 100 episodes if it kills me. Let's be honest, the end of season 3, it kind of did sound like I was dying. But no, we're going to get back on the horse for another 25 episodes. I'm excited. I feel like we've gone from the highest of highs and learning how to podcast in season 1. Man, that's a time, isn't it? If I went back to how that intro music started in season 1, what was I thinking? Anyway, season 2 was a few lows, a couple of like, what am I doing with my life? Season 3, the bender season, the what is she doing? What is happening? I had so many comments and just general conversations. It was, season 3 to me was my favorite for so many reasons. Anyway, personally for me, 2026 has been a bit here, there, and everywhere. It's actually been super emotional at times and draining, and then really high and like, you know, you've had a couple of wins. But I think all in all, I've surprised myself with how I've reacted to a lot of these things. I have this, I don't care if I haven't spoken to you in years, I'm going to drop you a message mentality, and it seems to be working. I'll tell you why in a second. So I do want to wrap this season up with a bit of positivity, put a bow around it, and just, you know, it is done and dusted. We don't have to go back and revisit any of this. So I am learning to communicate more, which is interesting. The reason I say this is the other day I saw a post on social media that said, if there's someone in your life that you haven't spoken to in the past 6 months to a year, drop them a good night message. And I was thinking, oh, that's absurd. Absolutely not. Can you imagine if you hadn't heard from like an ex or a friend or something, you thought the relationship or friendship was dead, and all of a sudden you get a good night? I would spiral. I would stay awake. I just couldn't cope. But then I was talking to a few friends about that, and they said, oh, but imagine if this was 10 or 15 years ago. Would it be normal? Is it normal because that's how we were, or that's how young we were when we were doing things like that, or it's not normal now that we're a little bit older? I don't know, but anyway, a few things have happened, and I've tried to be really considerate and communicative recently, and only in the past 6 weeks, so this is kind of new to me. The reason I say this and I bring it up is just a couple of weeks ago, we actually lost a really cool guy who I recently in the past year got introduced to. His love story with my friend is something I actually told my mum I'd love to get on the podcast. He passed away so suddenly, it left a huge hole in everyone's hearts, and we're actually struggling to wrap our heads around. Every week I find myself reaching out to the daughter and asking how things are and if I can do anything. Normally I panic and run in the other direction when someone passes. You have to be soft and considerate, which is just something I'm not. So I have been really trying to, help where I can. They are 7 hours away from us in a car. The actual road to their place, my Garmin watch on my wrist thinks I run whenever I drive it. So I don't know what that's about. Anyway, this episode is for you guys. I just want to let you know from the bottom of my heart, I love you, and this has been a really difficult time, but you have so much support from all of us, and we cannot wait to catch up with you soon. I know that, this isn't the right time or whatever. It's still too fresh and too raw. But from all of the Danny Dot podcast listeners, we are all wrapping our big arms around you to give you a massive hug. I hate death. I hate this has happened. But all I can do is just be here to support you, which is something I'm not very good at. So it's a lot for me. But yeah. And secondly, a friend of mine just recently decided life was a little bit too much. He wasn't based near me, so I didn't know this was happening. And he tried to take his own life. Instead of panicking, I went straight to his sister, who I haven't spoken to in donkey's years. And quite frankly, she drives me a little bit crazy. Yet here I was supporting her and getting her prepared for the worst, basically, because I've had a brother that I've lost and it's been horrible. but I was helping where I actually normally wouldn't be able to. And it was the most absurd thing. I just thought, where is this coming from? Like, I'm so proud of myself right now, not only for being there for like the most absurd, upsetting situations, but I'm doing it. And I can only sort of attribute that to recent events where I've just been like, I suppose I'm learning to not turn myself into a hermit and actually like wrap myself in a blanket and just hide. It's better to confront the situation. I'm not saying I'm confronting any of this. I went straight to the source with my friend, and I was like, my friend's sister, and asking, what can I do to help and where can I be of assistance? And please prepare yourself if the search and rescue teams can't find him, kind of thing. And also the family friend who passed away suddenly, like, that's just absolutely gut-wrenching. I don't even know like how I'm even communicating that nicely, but I'm doing it. So anyway, I just sort of wanted to throw those two things out there and just be really mindful in 2026. I am trying to show up more for myself and make sure that people know that I care. I think even last year I started trying to do this a bit more. A friend of mine was having a baby, and I was kind of like on at her a little bit, like, have you had the baby yet? Like, I know that I'm across the ditch, but I'm excited. So yeah, I think if anyone that's listening that's a friend of mine that has heard from me recently, and I tell you, the audio notes have been popping. It's maybe a 2026 thing, but I think everyone's just back talking again, which is super. Oh, it's just a breath of fresh air. Like, we want to hear from each other. I don't want anyone to think that just because they might be going it alone in whatever situation, they're absolutely not. But it's up to us as friends and family to actually turn the tables a little bit and set the tone. So anyway, had a couple of questions on the Instagram page. What's going on with your Airbnb, Danny? So, wow, I think I knocked this podcast off in September. October, I had the most unhinged guest that is still like, what even is going on? So Labour weekend, we had a 4-day weekend. I forgot to block the dates out. I unfortunately had to share my house with this person. And listen, I have had some really crazy foreign guests, but this guest in particular was from Wellington, New Zealand. Like, they should know better, but they didn't. So anyway, she rocks up and she empties out the ice tray in the freezer and fills it with her own pure water, which was distilled or whatever. And by day 4, I don't know what I did, but I must have tipped it out. Oh, I emptied it to actually refill it from the tap. I don't know why. I wasn't really thinking, it's my ice tray, whatever. So anyway, I emptied it, put it back in the freezer. The day that she went to depart, she went to tip the ice out. And I don't know how she knew this. She knew it was tap water. She starts dry reaching in the kitchen, the most absurd noise I've ever heard in my life. And I thought she'd cut her finger off. I came running down the hallway. I was like, what's happened? No, it was to her contaminated water, and now she was going to be sick for the whole journey back to Wellington. And I thought, okay, I get it, whatever. I apologized and I tried to calm her down. It was like a whole thing. That was like a small tidbit of what she was like as a person. She talked over me. She wouldn't absorb anything. She'd ask me questions about Cromwell, but nothing was adequate. Like, we went through 4 different types of sheets on the bed. So she wanted me to change them from cotton to flannelette to polar fleece. I think even one was satin. Nothing was adequate for her liking. And then one night I went over to the neighbour's house to have a couple of wines, and I came back. She approached me in the kitchen and told me she was turning her Tinder from liking men to liking women. Well, I'm telling you now, Danny.podcast listeners, I clicked my chastity belt on so goddamn tight that night. I shut my door and I put a massive 8-kilo weight behind the door because I was thinking, is this chick like coming on to me? What's going on? So there was just some really, I don't know. I got a little bit scared with her, I'm not going to lie. She came to Cromwell to do work. So she was working in the market selling dog leads and collars. So it was rainy one day. They didn't do the markets, whatever. So I was sitting on the couch watching a movie. She joined me and she fell asleep. And I thought it would be really funny to prank call her with like an automated AI voice and tell her dog was barking. And so I set it up and I sent this prank call, and this chick starts yelling. Like, I've still got the phone call. It was unhinged. She was like, you better shut the fuck up. It's not my dog, you dumb cunt. And I was thinking, oh, who buys collars and leads from this woman? So anyway, that was probably like top tier. Like, I actually broke out in a rash. I was that stressed. I went to a friend's house and they actually said to me, your detergent's making you break out in this rash. I went to the doctor and it wasn't the detergent, it was a stress rash. I probably, after 4 days of having it in my house, ended up in the fetal position. Just what the heck? Probably second worst was the couple from South Korea who turned up with their hazard lights on. They'd driven 3.5 hours with the hazard lights on. He reversed down my 300-metre driveway, almost took out the fence, got here about 9:30 at night, decided they wanted toast. She demanded bread from me and toast, which is fine. I gave it to her. They consumed the whole loaf. They ate 2 tomatoes, emptied out a jar of jam. I don't know why. They were just putting jam everywhere. And then decided they wanted to go for a walk around Cromwell at 11:30 at night. Well, they didn't get back till 1:30 in the morning. I messaged him and said, look, I'm going to bed. If you get lost, I can't come find you. I was trying to be as kind as I possibly could. And then they got up at 5 to 6 Sunday morning and decided they were going to cook Mongolian beef. I don't know where they pulled this ingredients from. I have no idea. They didn't have it in the fridge or in the house that night. So anyway, I could smell it. It was permeating the walls. It was coming down the hallway. I woke up on Sunday morning and I thought, what the heck is this? I have a little security camera in the living room for Poe, my kitten, for when I go to Queenstown to visit Mum. I sometimes check on him, all those types of, good fur baby parenting, I suppose. I was watching them and I couldn't believe it. They go to leave at 8:30. He writes me this big message saying thank you for everything. And mind you, they had 5% English, so everything was Google Translate. He then goes on to leave a rice cooker on the kitchen bench and says, thank you for your hospitality. The bed was really lovely. Enjoyed the stay. Here's my rice cooker. And I'm like, where in the hell did they get a rice cooker? They didn't even have toast last night. It was just the most stressful situation. As I say, they left at 8:30. By about 9:30, 9:45 in the morning, I was at my mum's house and I was making a full-blown continental breakfast for me and Mum. I felt like I just sometimes have this reflex where it's like if I don't know you and you're in my house, I bottle and can't. I just can't. Oh, it's the worst. And I don't know how to get over it. You've either got to be really kind and quite open and wanting to communicate with me. But if you stay in my house and you don't talk or there's a language barrier or something, I just freak out. And I'm like, I don't know, 30 guests in now. There's no turning back, let's be honest. So there's also been some really great pros. Just recently, about 2 weeks ago, I had this Russian caviar factory owner who was absolutely loaded. He turned up to the house. He'd flown business class all the way from Russia. And it was like a 30-hour flight across Qatar and Doha Airways. And they were giving him bottles of caviar, which he took off the plane. And then he had a rucksack full of caviar for people while he was on his journey. He was just basically dishing out caviar. So I wasn't prepared. I didn't have crackers. So we were standing in the kitchen eating black egg and red egg caviar on French stick with butter, which to him was normal. He eats caviar like it's a ham sandwich. I messaged my mum and I was like, you'll never guess what's happening. There's some Russian wealthy dude in the house who's eating freaking caviar off a French stick. It was so crazy. A few people were like, Danny, be careful. But he was the nicest guy. I still have 2 little containers of caviar. I'm dreading Googling how much these things cost. He was telling me half a kilo was 220 euros or something. And he had, I couldn't even count the jars. It was ridiculous. So there is a few pros. I would say there's more pros to cons in Airbnb hosting. I'm still a super host with a 5-star rating. So if any of my Danny.podcast listeners want to pop in and stay in my house, it's still listed. It's listed until October. It's been really good. I'll tell you, February 2026, I have 2 days. 2 days in the calendar that's not booked. Mind you, I block out Fridays and Saturdays because that's my day for me to be my social self. But other than that, every other day has been booked. I mean, it's a lot. I sometimes think I actually started this to be, 1 or 2 days a week, not 4 and 5 days a week. But it's money. It's free money for someone to be in my house, irrespective of them being a bit silly. And sometimes I think, is this an airport? Because people just don't think, how are these people traveling? That's what I want to say to them. Anyway. In the months past the last episode, I'll tell you a story. Oh, God, why am I doing this? I'll tell you a story about a situation I had myself in late last year, which was quite interesting. Basically, I went to a house party and there was a guy there that I knew not too well. Like, I just knew of him. And I was a little bit cold, as you know, it was coming into summer, didn't have my jacket. He gives me his jacket, he puts his arm around me, it's like a whole thing. And I was like, what's going on here? And then anyway, he pulled me closer and he kissed me. And it was like, I sort of look back at it right now and I think, holy shit, if I don't know you and I'm getting to know you, it's like a super slow burn. Like, I mean, you know, it's embers. It's not even a flame, it's just bloody embers. Like, that's how I feel around getting to know blokes who, you know, you could be interested in. Something about this guy, it was a flame, a goddamn flame. I was disgustingly comfortable with him for the longest time. It was the weirdest interaction. It sort of started late August. By like September, it was fully blowing. Like, it was just it was a fire. It was going off. We actually had a decoy. So a person who, when we were hanging out and catching up, this person knew that we were, but he was the only person that knew that we were. So he was the decoy, which was great for me. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I think when I hang out with people I'm getting to know and whatever, the town talks. It's a small town. So having this decoy has been great. These stories of our interactions that I was telling my friends the days after it had happened, the messages and the conversations, I was proud of myself. Like, not only was I putting myself out there, it's one of those things that, like, when you contribute a story and everyone's like got their mouths on the floor like, holy fuck, Danny, are you joking? Like, that's exactly how it was. I'll tell you one of the stories that I'm still awkwardly proud of, because the fire of how comfortable I was with this bloke is actually frightening. I don't even know where it came from. It was just like, I have known of this person for such a short, small amount of time, but it just went bang. I don't know. So we were drinking at the pub one night, and I don't know what goes on with when people have a couple of drinks, walking to my house is just the longest distance. I don't know I'm so used to it now. I literally will walk home. Like, I don't care. But I tell you, when you've had a couple of drinks and you've got someone that's like wanting to make out with you and you want to get there quicker, sometimes you don't make it. So that's exactly what happened this one time I'll tell you about. It's to the point now where we were walking up this street and there was a little bit of darkness, and I thought, oh, that's a really cool place to, you know, hop on the good foot and do the bad thing. So we were, I don't know how this whole thing started actually. I think we were just like making out on the pavement, and then I just sort of sat down. It's one of those things that sometimes I just sit down like whatevs. But he leant me back and we were just sort of like making out, and then all of a sudden I realized my head was near this white picket fence and this dog stuck its head through the palings and just came and just, I thought my ear was going to get bit off. And no sooner had all this happened, we dove up and got ourselves sorted. I think I might have mentioned the story in the ending of season 3, because I feel like it was about that time, but I don't know. Anyway, we dove up and we were getting ourselves organised, and a guy comes up this hill and he's like, righto guys, you're good? I was like, holy shit, like how close was that to being like, A, he might have seen something, B, I could have had my ear ripped off, and C, well, now we've got to, you know, act cool because I don't know who this guy is and I don't want to get him around town or whatever. Like, it was just a bit too much, too fast kind of situation. However, moving on, like we sort of are like two trains in the night. We sort of catch up with each other. Rah, it's the whole thing. The last time I saw him, which was probably, oh gosh, it was like late December. He, I don't know, gets a little bit too excited and we couldn't get back to mine fast enough. So we found this abandoned boat. I don't think it was abandoned, but whatever. So anyway, we were doing it on the boat, and I thought I'd take a little souvenir from the boat, which happened to be a vodka tonic. And it was like my trophy. And my friends were like, you're an idiot. I don't know whose boat this was. I couldn't tell you where I was. It was like a random street. And it's just been like one of those weird interactions where I'm awkwardly proud of it. Nothing's eventuated, and it's kind of like not really a town secret, but the decoy is keeping it a secret. It's so funny. It's to the point now where our conversations, if we want to catch up, have turned into if we're in a social environment and we don't want people to know that we're going to catch up, we talk about things that are really like boring. So one of which example is I would say to him, oh, the dishwasher still needs unpacking, or the air conditioner still needs to get fixed. It's not pumping out cold air. And he'll go, righto, I should come round. I need to give that air conditioner a service. Oh my God, why am I at this point in my life? Jesus. I think it's because now that I have this house that I just sort of think, I don't even care anymore. After everything that happened last year, this has just been the best end to the year. And anyway, I don't know. I don't know where it's going. I couldn't care less. I just think I'm happy. Like, I genuinely am laughing about it. I'm more proud because it's like if someone kind of puts the moves on me, I move like a snail. I'm like, whatever, let's. But no, this has been so much fun, and I just think, where could it go? Do I want it to? I actually went to Christchurch to go to Teddy Swims in October, and I told my boss's boss the story. She was sitting there and she was like, oh my God, I love this for you. So I think there's a whole lot of support, and I think I love hearing that people want to know about people's endeavours and sex stories. And here's me, like the shyest person ever. Oh my God. I'm actually actively trying to put myself out there, but I'm not doing very well. I'm only trying to be like a little bit quieter because of the small town I live in. But you know what? It's season 4. Like, fucking bring it on. If this is going to keep happening and the stories are going to be so just, what the helly, then we might as well talk about it. I don't know. Anyway, peak 2025 closure for me came out of nowhere. I wanted to mention this story because I love and this takes it back to what I was saying at the start, was regrouping with friends and stuff who you haven't seen, or someone that's been on your social media that you haven't interacted with for a while. My favourite memory of 2025 closure for me, I went to the pub one Friday night and I was sitting with my older group of friends who I love. You always feel safe. You can sit at the table, they'll talk shit. Like, they're like late 60s, late 70s, and they were talking about lubricant they use when they have sex. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, holy crap, these 70-year-olds are having more sex than I am. Anyway, I'm looking at this chickie who's walking towards me and I'm like, holy fuck, I think I know her. So it turns out I did know her, and I was talking to her about stuff, and she was sitting with her workmates. It was like work down drinks that, they were ending on a Friday, rah-rah. And they said to me, we're going to go out to the Tradie Day, which is up at the Five Stags. It's like a celebration for the trades closure over Christmas, which is my favourite party. Think of it like hundreds of men just walking around in their high-vis shirts and their little stubby shorts with their work boots on. Oh my God, I'm here for it. Anyway, I don't know how this happened. I think I might have said to them, do you mind if I come with you? And mind you, I work from home. Everyone says to me, you've got such a massively corporate job, but you don't really have the corporate lifestyle. And I get it. That is me to a T, absolutely. So having these really professional conversations with a table of people that are in that same scope of industry where they all talk about interesting, tech stuff, computer stuff. It's not interesting to them, it's interesting to me. Anyway, we pile in this vehicle and we go out to that pub, and we're all kind of, I'd say we had a couple of drinks by then. The emotionally unavailable salmon was there, and my favourite moment was pointing him out to someone that listens to the podcast who knows what and who that is. Well, she didn't know who that was, but now she does. Seeing the look on her face, the gratification was just oozing off my face. Like, I was like, yes, I needed someone who knew like all parts of the situation from the podcast to lay eyes on the salmon and think, holy fuck, Danny, you made a bad choice. And so if you are new to the podcast and you don't know who the salmon is, go back to season 3, start again. Holy shit. That was a horrible time in my life. So it lives rent free in my brain, having someone else's eyes on him and think, what the fuck were you thinking? Not only that, she was standing with a whole bunch of blokes, and I think I was loud enough to mention it to the blokes, and these guys were like, Danny, gross. And I was like, what was I thinking? I'm not even going to say I was drunk. I was just like, he has this charm. I don't know what it was. Anyway, now we're like, 6 months on. doesn't even matter. Oh no, a year on, doesn't even matter anymore. And I've come across like the most amazing blokes in my life recently. I'm not even going to lie. There's a guy who I want to have on the podcast. He has this voice. He's actually really beautiful to look at. That's more the point. Like, he's fun to look at. He's interesting. He's got life stories. There was this whole discussion about where he was from. And everyone said, like, I think they said Darwin or Broome or something. And I was like, nah, he's not got the accent for northern parts of Australia. Why? How should I know? I'm not even from these parts. Like, but I instantly pulled him to the side and I said to him, that voice is not from Broome or Northern Territory. He says, no, it's from Wollongong. It's from South Sydney. I was like, I friggin' knew it. I knew it because I used to live in Sydney. I can hear it. But yeah, so I think season 4 is going to be relatively interesting because he's really keen to come and have a yarn. I haven't actually seen him for a long time. It's been, I don't know, 3 weeks. But yeah, he is definitely one of those crazy cats that will have a fair few stories. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, I thought we'd get into a bit of context in this podcast just because I had a few things I had to get off my chest about what ending bloody 2025. We've ended it. We've closed the book. Moving on. No more salmon. No more fucking stupid boys and discussions and stuff like that. Am I looking for love? Absolutely not. But however, as you guys all know, I love a hack or a cheat's way of doing something. I actually think I drive Mum and Tom's, like, they must be driven crazy by my stupid ideas. But I don't see how making something more enjoyable is potentially a bad thing. I have turned up this year in 2026 organising so much better compared to last year. Last year was a hot friggin' mess. But yeah, it's one of those things. I think season 1 of the podcast was an enjoyable high, and then tying everything up, I just want to let people know that I can't see myself podcasting forever. I'm almost 40. I am going to drive my public speaking into other things outside of these walls. And I know that every season we say, oh, we're going to video it. No, it's just not one of those things for me. Like, if I would have done that since the start, I would have. But I just can't commit and lean into being on video. Like, it's just not me. I don't know. I've tried. Anyway, I think from what I've been saying recently that you can tell I need to escape this year. It's quite obvious. Whereas I thought over the past couple of years I needed to sit and be present in Cromwell, when actually all I want to do is travel and turn up to things that make me happy. Don't get me wrong, there is a whole lot of happiness to being in Cromwell. It's such a quiet, wee, quaint place. If you are literally getting over a breakup or you needed space or you wanted to learn how to do something, this is the town to do it in because there's so many components to it, and I think Airbnb guests definitely show that to me. I mean, people come to Cromwell and they've come off hikes, they've been meditating, they've been sitting in lakes and, you know, thinking about what to do next in their life. And I think for the past 5 years, that's definitely something I've been doing. I've been not only like learning about myself and everything that I want to do, but then it gets corrupted by something stupid. I'm like, oh, I made a bad choice again. Anyway. I think you all need to know that, you know, being in 2026, if you had started a resolution, 80% of those resolutions for something great that you plan to do this year fail by the second week of February. We are in the second week now, so if you have failed, I want you to get back on the horse. This is okay. We can start again. The Quitters Day phenomenon is data from Strava, the fitness app, which has analysed over 800 million activities and identified the second Friday of January as actual Quitters Day. This is the point which most people abandon all of their goals. We aren't there quite yet. What's the date today? The 10th. So, it'll be the 3rd. Oh, bark's sakes. It's Friday the 13th this year. Anyway, I just want to make sure that everyone that, you know, is already into 2026 and maybe has fallen like they have left their goals or their resolutions, you are capable of continuing doing so. And for me, I have done it in such a way that I've planned my next 6 months so that I can always reevaluate things and turn up and just decide how I want things to be. A big part of this is when I turned 30, I had a massive breakdown 3 months prior. Massive. I thought, I don't want to turn 30 looking like the way that I do. Turning 40 to me is still 18 months away, which isn't a long time, but it's enough time. It's not a case of looking visually okay at 40. It's feeling it internally. So I have set myself 6 months of interesting things I want to do, and I'll just sort of touch on that just briefly and let you all know. January is about choosing myself. It's about calming the mind with slow rituals to get me into 2026 under no pressure. This was phenomenal. The past 4 weeks in January, there was lots of routine, habit stacking. If you're new to habit stacking, it just means that you maybe do 2 things at a time. So for me, I was enjoying testing out products and enjoying seeing what worked with my body. I was habit stacking things like using a vibration plate with red light therapy. Red light therapy is like my favorite thing, and I didn't think I'd actually see any results, but it definitely works. Your skin does these crazy things. I'm not even going to go into it. We're just going to push on. But my favorite habit stack of January was red light therapy with my vibration plate. I was also trying to introduce myself to whole foods and foods that were maybe you wouldn't think they go together. So sardines was a really big one. Trying to get sardines consumed was like, ooh, but I did it. And also Celtic salt water in the morning and night. So that was compulsory. And also making sure that my hair, skin, and nails were healthy. So I don't know. It's one of those, I'm looking at my nails right now and I'm like, what happened in February? But yeah, I think if you can sort of start being really mindful of how you give yourself those rituals, they come out in different ways. February, however, is about fresh air, strong legs, and learning how to run longer and stronger. Now, I always go into this with you guys, I'm doing the Couch to 5K, I'm going to teach myself how to run. No. We need to learn how to go for like longer runs. And one of the really big things in February is learning how to breathe. Sounds really stupid, I know, but my Garmin watch has been telling me that my VO2, which is my oxygen level when I do my workouts, is poor. The stupid thing is it changed for 4 years and I've gone and done some crazy fitness routines. So yeah, look, to me, I've been focusing on my breathing, which sounds really silly, but there's the 4-4-4 method. 4 seconds in, hold, 4 seconds out, hold, 4 seconds in, hold, 4 seconds out, but then also expanding it an extra 4 seconds. So 4 seconds in, hold, 4 seconds, hold, 4 seconds out. And then you can even do 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, 4 seconds hold. And then it just increases your lung capacity. And already I'm feeling a huge weight off my shoulders. I don't know what, I can definitely feel myself breathing differently. Also in February, we were doing season 4 of the podcast. It starts and it's the last. So I just wanted to put that in there. Coincidentally, this is the month on February 20 where I speak to old people. So I saw a post on Facebook asking for people to come and speak to the older generation, and I put my hand up. I'm not shy to get on the microphone, so I'm going to go and talk to the older people in Queenstown. They've asked me for a 20-minute presentation, potentially with PowerPoint, and just discuss whatever you want to discuss. So I'm still brainstorming what I want to talk about. But yeah, February for me is fresh air, strong legs, and doing weird stuff that help me get out of the 4 walls. March is again about whole foods and fueling your life better. I want to commit to another 75 days of commitment to something, whatever that looks like. I feel like the flow-on effect from last year not doing 75 hard, my health was deteriorating terribly, absolutely terribly. I really regret not doing that last year. It's like 2024, I was a pillar of strength, immune to everything. I couldn't get sick if you tried. So 2025, I don't know what happened. I was spiraling. I was having days off work. I couldn't get out of bed. I was just miserable. I had hay fever that was horrible. I was sick. So I have been really getting into eating non-processed foods, and whole foods is definitely making my body react differently and fueling me for the better. March, I'm going to fully commit to doing that more so. And another 75 days of something, I just don't know what that looks like right now. Not so much 75 hard. I think that's a lot of pressure on someone that's getting old like me. No, I'm joking. But yeah, we are definitely planning something. April is going to be full of friends and things that I like to do. So I'm basically conditioning myself with January, February, March to get organised for when April rocks around and it's going to be a little bit of chaos. I want to definitely lean into learning what works for me and enjoying myself in those previous months. So that April, when friends visit and I've got some functions on, I can feel a little bit great. Not that I don't now, I just think that it could be refined a little bit. May is a little bit special. I'm going to Thailand all by myself, my solo adventure. I am freaking the fuck out. If I've reached out to you and asked about Thailand, I apologize. I just want some support. I want people's ideas about Bangkok and everything else. The trip itself's kind of planned. Every now and then I watch something and I freak myself out that Asia's too big for me, but then I have to do this. I want to go solo and have an adventure, do things on my terms, eat what I want to eat, meet people that I want to meet, just do all the crazy shit you're supposed to do when you're younger, I suppose. So I am very excited. It is an interesting time for me, obviously, to be by myself for a couple of weeks. But we have been planning this. I feel like I've been planning this since my first podcast, let's be honest. It's definitely one of those adventures that I keep mentioning. And Mum's like, would you just get on the plane, Danny? I'm like, oh, sorry. But in hindsight, we've had a lot on. So I say to everyone, if you built a house, take a year off, because when you build a house, that consumes your brain. And that's what happened last year. I couldn't do anything. So, yeah, I am very excited to get out there. And I keep looking at my flights and just getting so happy and excited I get to go on these crazy adventures and big planes and stuff. Oh, I am who I am. So anyway, wow, the podcast is at 39 minutes. So I guess I'll wrap this up. The moral of today's episode is definitely that I didn't fall apart over the break just happening. Honestly, everything that I have done recently feels like growth. This year is definitely not about being perfect. It's about present and being present enough. I want to occasionally disappear on a plane when I can. It's definitely needed. It's something that I enjoy. It makes me happy. I want to go and see friends and explore different places. Season 4 to me is a tidy little bow on this chapter of my life. It is the last season. I want it to be one where I'm laughing more, moving my body, definitely eating better, and choosing joy without explaining myself. I don't want to tell anyone why I think something's great. It's great. I said so. No. If you are listening to this and you're already quitting your goals, congratulations, you're normal. All I want to say is just pick one thing that makes you feel good and do that. I caught up with a friend recently at the gym and I told her about everything I was doing in January. The look on her face, she was like, you're nuts, you're fucking nuts. But at the end of the day, I have no kids, no partner. I can turn up for myself and do as much stuff as I want for myself. The fact is that I live alone. I have so much space to do things. I can create wee stations that help me with my routine and my organization. And it makes me feel good. I love feeling like I didn't just write myself off and do something I shouldn't. This is on me. So anyway, guys, I'll be over here building strong legs for February, planning Thailand for May, and proving that almost 40 can actually be elite behavior if I choose it to be. But anyway, season 4 of the podcast is here, 24 episodes to go. Please, if you want me to talk about something before we call it quits, let me know. Pop on Instagram. It is the Danny Dot Podcast. You can't miss it. And yeah, welcome back. It's going to be an adventure, right?